Greg, do you think we're good at what we do?
We? No. Me? No.
Well, as we all know, my skills as a writer are unimpeachable, but as a performer, I'm truly subpar! So I've been looking into natural remedies, herbs, spices, something to enhance my performance.
Well, that's fine, but truthfully, there's no quick fix to this. You have to bury yourself in the craft and study.
I didn't have time, I took 4 Viagra!
Oh my god, what is that?
My shame!
Are you okay? Are you in pain?
No, it's good for the character I'm working on.
What's the character?
A guy who's in pain from taking too many Viagra pills. Take me to the hospital. Oh, Greg, hurry. My button fly's about to become a button flu. Hit the nos!
Don't worry, I know every shortcut in this city. What? My navigational prowess! It's been challenged!
What's happening?
Lights, camera, action! They're filming a movie! Where are we? The capital of movie making? Vancouver, British Columbia?
What's happening?
I'm gonna get out and try to find out what's going on. Don't look at anything provocative. Hey you, what's going on here?
We're shooting a picture.
Well, I'm trying to get to the hospital. My friend's having an emergency. Can we pass through?
You kidding me? We're about to shoot the dumbest, laziest, most cliched scene in big silver screen history. A guy takes 4 Viagra and has to go to the hospital.
Who plays the friend?
Some ugly idiot.
You've hurt me. Now shoot the scene and let's go. My friend's in the backseat harder than a rock that looked at Medusa.
We're trying, but there's a TV show shooting ahead of us in our way. If you want to get through, you got to talk to them.
Let me at him. You in the canvas chair, Mr. Director. What's going on here?
We're about to shoot the most innovative scene in small plasma screen history. A gentleman has consumed 4 Viagra and now has to be escorted to a medical facility.
Who's playing the friend?
John Hamm.
Oh, all right. That makes sense.
Oh, I meant a harmed lamb. I always get them mixed up.
Look, I'm trying to get my friend to the hospital, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Is there anyone here with any medical experience?
Well, Harmed Lamb played a surgeon for 6 seasons while Mary had a little doctor. He doesn't want to talk to you. It's driving the car now and it knows what it wants! Nurses! Is that the surgeon from Mary Had a Little Doctor?
Just drive.
Why did I take so many? Obviously, I'm a great actor. I just played 3 different people. I don't need performance-enhancing pills, no matter how easy it made push-ups.
I apologize, but we've done everything we can. The damage is already done. Cut!
Wait, this was a movie too? I'm okay? Boy, only in LA or Vancouver, British Columbia.
No, cut as in it off. Get the bone saw!
No, this has to be a mistake.
Oh, you're right. I apologize. I meant the boner saw! Hello!
Hello!
Welcome to LA Meekly. It's 3:45 and I have a lot of energy. It's not 9 o'clock.
I don't know what to say.
I haven't been working for an 8-hour shift.
Why am I not tired?
I haven't swallowed 2 gallons of coffee in preparation for this, so I don't know where I am.
As you might have guessed by how awake we sound, how woke we are right now.
It's about time, guys.
This is a sort of different episode of LA Meekly. This month, I'm Greg.
I'm Daniel.
Does anyone have a doobie?
Don't get too close to the microphone.
Why? Why? Can people not hear me?
Hold on, I gotta fiddle with the... Just keep talking. I'm just going to distract you by fiddling with the mixer. This is too much. I'm sorry.
I'm hurt.
We didn't extensively do research for this episode. We wanted to have a more free-form talk.
Well, the reason is because I'm out of town right now. It's, July 1st? I'm somewhere...
Thank you for calling Collect from another country.
This is costing us millions. This is costing the American taxpayers millions of dollars.
It's okay. We'll have a GoFundMe. It's okay. We'll GoFundMe.
Our GoFundMe. I'm out of the country.
Yeah.
So we're recording this in advance. I might be in a gulag or something right now.
They might not let you back in the country.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, so I wanted to do something for Daniel that would be less editing
before
and less
I
research.
Leave. Yeah. So this is going to be more free form, more of a the sort of podcast you're used to. You're Marin. That's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
What the Marin?
Yeah, with the Marin. Yeah.
You're Louis. You're
with the reference. You're Louis. You're Mulaney.
You're Aziz Ansari. You're Master of None. All of your favorite podcasts. Gilmore Girls.
Gazebo Girls. What's it called? Our shoes are off. Our feet are on the table. We're just relaxing today. Not a big deal.
Not too relaxed.
No. Never around Daniel.
Always alert. That's what got me this far in Slovenia, where I am right now.
What's that sound? Is that a wobble? I gotta stab it.
Is that a stray wobble coming to mug me? Not in Sarajevo.
Don't give out your location.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about LA movies.
Movies that are part of the LA fabric, that not just like filmed in LA, but they're movies about LA, and that we feel like embody like what it is to live in
there's
LA.
a couple of mine that don't explicitly say they're in LA, but were filmed so around LA that it couldn't be anything but LA.
Yeah, there are some that they never come out and say like we're in LA, but like like the whole movie is just like, okay, it's the beach and now you're in Beverly Hills.
Phone home from LA, baby.
I'm wearing sunglasses right now.
She's still doing the impression of me.
Yeah, it's you, but Southern with glasses. Sunglasses, but your sunglasses that are prescription. Southern glasses.
Southern glasses. Before we get into that, we got a little bit of flack, criticism,
some light
hate
criticism,
mail,
light criticism.
Let's just say earth-shattering punches in the guts.
Light criticism.
We got an email. Someone
received an email on
our behalf, cursing us to the fifth circle of hell, which is for podcasters.
For podcasters, we'll see you there, Marin.
What the hell?
What the fifth? Someone commented, and it wasn't what our usual praise because we're spoiled by praise.
Yeah.
Except if you look on Reddit, there's not a lot of praise on Reddit.
I don't know how to handle criticism anymore. I haven't been criticized in years. So
they haven't had anything.
So someone mentioned that we got something wrong on our episode we did about the St. Francis Dam. He said we were reporting myth as fact because I had mentioned that
people were washing ashore.
I didn't say people. I said one person washed ashore, a victim of the flood, as late as 1994. I read it wrong. He wasn't washed ashore, but he was or she dug up in 1994. That's there.
That's fair enough.
Sorry we got it wrong. The tragedy still stands, buddy.
Invalidated the entire episode.
Yeah. It wasn't sad until I heard that guy washed up in 1994. Like, he didn't even get to appreciate Nickelodeon.
And he commented on something that we have noticed before, the person commented that we were laughing at people that died in the disaster. And we aren't laughing at each individual person and calling them dumb for dying, but the situation
some of the situations
of waking
are
up in a
so
tent,
horrific and
absurd,
unfathomable
and
that
absurd,
we can't help it.
We're laughing at the situation of how bizarre it is to wake up in a tent in the middle of what you thought was like a deserty air terrain and a wall of water there. We're doing it again. It's the situation is so bizarre though.
Yeah, it's an OMC song. That's something we worry about a lot doing this show, that we make light of tragedies, which we try not to, but some things are so ridiculous. Like if J. Griffith thinks his wife and the Pope are trying to kill him, and he shoots his wife in the face. That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous that of course what we're going to comment on it is going to be leaning towards
the absurd.
Yeah, absurd. Yeah.
Anyway, this isn't an apology episode.
No, it's not. We're not apologizing.
Let's get back to what we're talking about. We don't even have
that in us to apologize. I wouldn't even know what it's like to do that.
All I know how to say is I'm cool and eat my shorts. There's nothing in between.
I don't even know what the feeling is like.
The feeling? That's my favorite.
No, what the feeling?
Starring Mark Feelwrong. I apologize for that.
Yeah, that was. I mean, as you should have. That was enough to make me stand up.
That joke's going to wash up in like 20 years. Yeah, let's get back on track to what we're going to be talking about.
So we are doing something we haven't done since the City Bites episode, which is our food episode, where we put the names of subjects
that we're going to be talking about,
and we're going to pull them out.
A bucket in the form of Greg's bag.
Yeah, we also have in front of us,
because he's a plumber. Blue collar. Blue collar.
You have a movie written in front of you. I have a movie written in front of me, which are the personal ones, which we'll talk about at the end.
Yeah, the LA movies that mean the most to us.
I wouldn't say mine does, but it was certainly around.
The LA movies that we both lived as a child.
That if you cut me, this movie bleeds. I mean, this movie comes out. I bleed this movie.
If you cut me, the picture of Dorian Gray bleeds.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, let's get into the first one.
Okay, you pick the first one.
Up in Smoke.
Oh, Up in Smoke might be. I've been asking people what they think is the best LA movie, and a lot of people have said Chinatown, which I agree. Chinatown is a perfect movie.
Because it's made by a pedophile.
Because I'm like, was this movie made by a pedophile? One of my favorite movies of all time. Oh, it's Annie Hall. Cool.
It's You Will Meet a Tall, Dark Stranger. I love it. My favorite LA movie.
Me and my brother both agree the most LA movie I can think of is Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke, which is, it's a 70s movie from Lou Adler. The whole movie is Cheech and Chong trying to find marijuana, and at some point they're driving a van made of marijuana, and they're still looking for marijuana. And we are talking about what makes it an LA movie. They go all over town. They are in Beverly Hills. They're in Santa Monica on the PCH. They hang out at Highland Park.
Are those in Los Angeles?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Cheech plays Pedro. His cousin Strawberry, who's played by Tom Skerritt, who has a giant disfigurement on his face, lives in Highland Park. And then they cruise on, what is a car with a little sidecar? The motorcycle with a sidecar?
Isn't that just called a motorcycle with a sidecar?
I thought it had a cool name, like a Robin or like some kind of sidekick.
It's the Batman.
They're driving down Corlata Boulevard, which is in Highland Park or Lincoln Heights, in that kind of gray area along Fig. So you just see all these like spots, and then they're driving on Riverside Drive. They're just all over. That's what a good LA movie to me is. It's not just in the Hollywood Hills and on the sets of other movies.
Streets.
It's the streets. It's also like different areas all over town. So you see like the high and the low, which is what
I get it.
You get it
Because they're up and low.
Because they're low and they're trying to get high. Also, the movie is very diverse. There's a lot of different ethnicities in the movie, which is pretty cool.
LA's not known.
There's not
LA's not known for that.
We're not a melting pot area. No.
I think it's mostly just Ethiopians in Los Angeles.
You haven't seen any of...
No, yeah. Most of the movies you're going to be talking about, I haven't seen.
So I'm just describing what it's like. Yeah. Most of the movie is filmed during the day, and it has that like afternoon...
Tell me feelings.
Okay. It has that like afternoon feel of any good alley movie where they're just driving around. It's always sunny. And that's another thing with alley movies. They're always like in a car. Like there's a lot of car travel. Like you're getting from one city to the next or whatever.
How often are you walking down the street in the middle of the day?
It's very true. But there's other movies like in other cities where people are walking on the subway or whatever, and there's not a lot of bus movies in LA. A lot of it's like you're driving from place to place. So there's a lot of like in the car getting high, or you're driving to get marijuana or whatever.
But that wasn't legal back then. Why would they do that?
Also, it's a very LA movie because the cops are the bad guys. Go ahead.
Well, they're also Cheech and Chong are LA comedians,
yeah,
comedic actors, whatever. What are they?
They're comedians.
Were they Chong? No, Cheech does comedy, right?
They had comedy together. They did comedy together.
Like stand-up comedy?
I don't know if it was stand-up. I know they released albums together. I think it might have been like sketches
vaudeville.
Or like, some sort of like vaudeville thing.
Yeah, that is true, being out in LA in the middle of the day. Because when I was in school, like K through 12.
Yeah.
Like if there was a day off, and this is a feeling I kind of miss, but of like a weekday off where you're not at school and you're just out in LA.
Yeah.
Like it feels wrong and good, which is like I'm always, every weekday I'm out and about.
Wrong and good.
Yeah. I feel wrong and good all the time. I can't stop. The police try, but they can't find me.
I know where to hide.
But yeah, that feeling of just being out kind of aimlessly in the middle of a hot sunny day.
Hot sunny day, yeah. And you like will sometimes pass like a rec center pool and like, oh god, I just want to jump in there real quick.
I had my own.
Oh, that's right.
I lived at a rec center.
Full of rats. Oh,
I was raised by a city appointed lifeguard.
City mommy? Don't call me that. Between that and one of my other favorite Valley movies, which I didn't do a lot of research on, was the Bad News Bears. It has like a 2 p.m. on a Wednesday feel of like it's always like
Is that
really
in the bucket?
warm. No. But
it's not in the bucket?
I might have put it in the bucket, but I didn't like write down the dates. But it's in Chatsworth, you said? A park up in Chatsworth, where the field.
A lot of locations from these movies we realized before we started recording that we have been to most of them together.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Not in preparation for this, we just end up there.
But this was long before we started the podcast. You're like, do you want to go to the Bad News Bear Park? I'm like, yeah, I want to go to the Bad News Bear Park.
And it was like 11 at night, and there were roaches everywhere.
Oh, that's right. I think I had like the flashlight of this little thing on my keychain. I'm like looking around like park at night, like, oh yeah, it kind of is.
I'm trying to find Walter Matthau's teeth.
Where's that part where he passed out on the dugout? Where's the dugout? Show me the dugout. Tatum O'Neal is selling star maps up in Hollywood. It's very
Only
LA
in
movie.
LA.
Only in LA. I'll pick the next one. You ready for the next one? Mm-hmm. Have you seen Repo Man?
No, I haven't.
Alex Cox?
No.
It's really good. Really dumb and sci-fi and very punk. Emilio Estevez and Harry Dean Stanton, of course. Again, a lot of driving around. But it's just like grimy late 70s, 80s LA. And it's like nothing looks nice in that movie. And I really like it.
The movies filmed in LA in the 70s.
They didn't concentrate too much. Yeah, they didn't concentrate too much. I don't want to say that.
Not that the movies didn't look good. It's just that LA isn't portrayed in a beautiful, romantic fashion in those movies.
I think that there's a cynicism of the times, of course. Independent movies were out, so not everything had to be like on a big set. People were going for more realistic stuff. It wasn't like the Hollywood Hills, which was portrayed as like what was really nice. I think like the suburbs was in like the Valley was really sold in the 70s LA stuff. Like Targets is another thing. It's a lot of
that's not in the bucket, is it?
It's not in the bucket.
Targets.
I just remembered it as I was talking right now, but they filmed it at the drive-in. It was like the Reseda drive-in.
I remember they show the like Sherman Way East exit, like he gets off there, and then there's who's the movie by? Let's explain what the movie is a little bit. So
Peter Bogdanovich directed it. It's about an old aging horror star played by Boris Karloff doesn't want to be
also very LA.
Yeah, he doesn't want want to be in the movies anymore. He doesn't want to do horror movies anymore. He wants to quit because the world is getting too scary with Vietnam and everything. And at the same time,
no one's afraid of monsters.
No one's afraid of castles and curses anymore. Peter Bogdanovich plays the young director in the movie as well, and he's trying to coax Boris Karloff's character to come back in the movie. So you're in a really ritzy hotel that Boris Karloff's staying at, so you have like that part of the glamorous Hollywood side of it, and there's also this Charles Whitman type character in the valley. It's somewhere, I don't remember what they say.
He's in like
Sherman Oaks or something.
Not like my part, like the bad part. You know, the bad part where all the snipers live. He's in like a suburban.
Yeah, suburban.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
It's just
every time you think about it, you always mention he looks just like Matt Damon. Whoever that actor is, I don't know his name.
Spoiler alert, he starts shooting people on the 405 with a sniper rifle, sitting on top of these like oil tankers that are still there. Yeah. Whenever I'm driving on the 405 and I see them, I gotta go fast past this part.
I gotta swerve lane to lane. People will get it when they watch Targets. Yeah, he goes to the drive-in and he's behind the screen shooting people in their cars. Yeah. Terrifying movie.
Just another day in LA. Just another day on the 405.
And those are both movies that are, what I'm trying to say is like the suburbs, the city, and glitzy Hollywood is the three things that were sold for a long time. And in the 90s, urban LA made like a bigger presence.
Yeah. Did you put The Sandlot in there?
I didn't because it wasn't filmed in
All
LA.
of the movies I have seen are in the bucket.
I think they mentioned at the beginning of The Sandlot that it takes place in the San Fernando Valley, that they had to move.
They filmed it
They filmed it in like Utah.
But it still feels like, it
feels like it. Yeah, certainly.
It kind of does, but at certain parts it doesn't. The pool scene didn't feel like the Valley to me. I guess The Sandlot itself kind of did.
His house, and I think the opening shot, they show the hills and they pan down. It's kind of like this kind of suburb cul-de-sac.
This is a historic fact. There's never been a Babe Ruth autographed baseball in the Valley, so I know that much. And no big dogs.
There's no big dogs in the Valley.
Only Big Dogs Clothing Company. Lots of that. Okay, so the next one we're going to talk about is, okay, good. Finally one on my side. I don't know, you spelled it Big Lebowski.
Oh, I've only watched Big Lebowski. I didn't watch the Big Lebowski.
It's the Polish remake? Yeah, the Big Lebowski.
So funny.
Funny movie.
Funny movie.
Discussion over. It's a cult hit, Did you know that it's a cult hit?
It's about cults? What are you saying?
I rewatched it before recording this. It's more so than the other ones I'm going to be talking about. It explicitly states, like, this is Los Angeles. It mentions, like, different parts of Los Angeles. And knowing...
Stay out of Pacific Palisades, is it?
Stay out of Malibu.
Okay.
Which I feel like is a theme in all Coen's Brothers movies of stay out of something. Stay out of the Woolworths. Because I guess I didn't quite realize that it was, like, supposed to be The Big Sleep, or, like, a version of The Big Sleep, or just, like, Raymond Chandler books in general. But it does have that Raymond Chandler, like, once one event is over, the next thing starts immediately. Right, like, he'll get dropped off at his house, and he gets taken in another limo and goes to a different part of town, and you like, can't stay home.
He gets home, and then someone's waiting at home for him. It's
exactly.
Like, oh, God.
Yeah, but it also, like, goes everywhere around the city, like a Raymond Chandler, like, he's all over the city, like all parts, like rich, poor, like everywhere. The opening shot, I think, is of the Valley. Like the first thing you see.
Oh, that's right. It cascades over, Yeah,
with the tumbling tumbleweed. I think it's the Valley. His bungalow is at 609 Venezia Avenue in Venice.
Okay.
It sold in 2012 for $1.59 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's, okay.
I mean, I feel like...
It's also Hollywood.
No, it's Venice.
Oh, you used to say Venice. Sorry.
Interesting. Oh, Greg's not listening. Seems. The Big Lebowski takes place in Hollywood. Ralph's is a big part of this movie, which is so weird.
Which Ralph's is?
The Ralph's he went to is at 1745 Garfield Road in Alhambra.
Oh my God, in Alhambra?
Yeah, he drove far.
He drove far to
get
that milk.
Half and half. They have the best half and half. Just being in Ralph's is very relaxing to me, and it's because Ralph's is only in Los Angeles area. The fact that it's Ralph's, it's not some fake supermarket brand. Like this is, it feels real and authentic.
Do you want to say what you said to me when you were talking about the Big Lebowski earlier?
What did I say?
That you want that life so badly.
Yeah, I just want to be at home. The only time I leave is to play golf with my weird friends.
Bowling.
Why did I say golf?
Because he says
in the Big Lebowski, it's all about golf. Bowling with my weird friends, and then just going to get milk.
Yeah,
like that's it. It's just being in your robe
all day.
A wash up, a burnout, wash up.
Listening to whale sounds in the tub.
Oh, that sounds so nice. Caring about a rug. I wish I still cared about rugs. Walter's Security Company is at 6757 Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood, right next to Highland.
It's in Venice, you said?
Yeah. Well, in the Lebowski version. They filmed at Johnny's, the fake coffee shop.
Oh, yeah, the fake coffee shop.
6101 Wilshire. You can see the old Peterson Museum through the windows.
That's funny, yeah.
The place where the nihilists were having pancakes, it's the Dinah's in the, near the airport, the Westchester area.
Oh, right.
And even, like, two of the people who were the nihilists, there's Flea and there's Amy Mann, both of whom are very heavily only LA associated
Yes, they
musicians. Maud Lebowski's loft is above the Palace Theater downtown. You can see the Los Angeles Theater sign through her window.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Fountain Theater, where his landlord's one-man show, that was the Palace Theater. The Lebowski Mansion, it was supposed, they said it's in Pasadena, which again is very
Ritzy.
Raymond Chandler.
Yeah.
The exterior was 10231 Charing Cross Road in Holmby Hills, and the interior was the Greystone Mansion.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
The place where they smashed the Corvette, they were saying it's in North Hollywood, which it wasn't. It was in Fairfax on Stearns Drive between Pico and 18th. Then they go to In-N-Out, local touches of
Yeah,
Los Angeles.
it's very cool.
The ash scattering scene is in Palos Verdes at Point Fermin Park. The bowling alley was the Hollywood Star Lanes that was built in 1960.
Yeah. I thought you said it was near you.
I thought it was. I mean,
Yeah.
it was at 5227 Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. It was really googie. It was destroyed in 2002 when the city claimed the land to make way for Kingsley Elementary School. But all of those googie...
They're designed as they're at
Yeah.
some point we're cookie cutter.
That's part of another thing, like the googie bowling alley
Yeah.
is retro 50s. There's like 3 different eras of Los Angeles in there, or 4 even. There's like the 1920s Greystone Mansion stuff. There's the 1950s fancy houses. There's the 1960s googie bowling alley.
Yeah.
There's the 1990s his disgusting apartment. The beach scene with a party on the beach, that was at Point Doom in Malibu off Westward Beach Road. That was the same beach where they filmed the last scene of Planet of the Apes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. He has the same line in both those
They
movies,
boobed it up. Those horny monsters, they boobed it up. Jackie Treehorn's house was the Sheets Goldstein residence at 10104 Angelo View Drive in between Beverly Glen and Benedict Canyon. It was designed in 1961 by John Lautner, who was the guy who designed Googies. In February 2016, the house was donated by its owner to LACMA. So, that's good because now people can like visit it. It just feels like a very LA movie.
It is, yeah. Again, a lot of driving in there. People picking him up,
Being taken.
his car.
So what's the next one?
Heat. Michael Mann's Heat.
Well, this is one I've seen.
Okay. Heat, as we talked about before, influenced the North Hollywood bank robbery, which we thought was the other way around. But yeah, they influenced that. It was filmed all over LA, like all over industrial parts of LA and then closer to the Hollywood Hills and stuff. The shootout scene was filmed in downtown LA along the Central Library on 5th Street between Grand and Flower, which they advertised right outside the library. Like, this is where Val Kilmer and Robert De Niro were shooting.
Don't give them ideas.
Remember that scene where they're shooting a bunch of cops? Right here. They filmed in the Hollywood Hills. There's a scene where they film at the Redondo Beach Metro Rail Station in Lawndale. They filmed at the hospital in Long Beach. They go to City of Industry. The scene where they hit the armored truck was at Venice and Georgia near the 110 and the 10 freeway. They go to Bob's Big Boy, both of them. North Hollywood, and there's one in Downey too on Firestone Road. They go to that one too. That's the one with
Hollywood.
Yeah, the one on Riverside Drive in.
I think it's Burbank.
When I looked it up, it said North Hollywood.
Yeah, whatever. But what? Yeah, whatever. Shut up.
Well, I was kind of wrong, so shut up.
Yeah, you're right. Get me a hamburger.
There's one in Downey.
I don't want to get emails about that this is the North Hollywood Bob's Big Boy.
That we're reporting myths as facts and that it was in North Hollywood.
That's just an urban legend that Bob's Big Boy is in North Hollywood. There's also one in Sun Valley.
Oh, is it really?
And one in
Northridge. Oh, that's right off
Northridge.
the freeway.
Yeah, and there's one in Northridge also.
Oh, well, there's 2 nice ones. Because the one in the valley is...
2 nice ones.
The one in the valley is dumb and ugly. And so is the one in Sun Valley.
And that one smells.
It washed ashore in the 90s. And then for some reason they said that there was another scene during the day that wasn't the scene I can think of offhand that was filmed at in the one in North Hollywood at Bob's. Apparently they go to, like, they leave a car, whatever.
Burbank.
Doesn't matter.
Burbank.
They filmed in Santa Monica and Wilmington. I mean, it's a long movie. That doesn't warrant that they're going to drive all over the place, but it's a movie where, again, a lot of driving around dealing with stuff. So that it's they go all over the place. Yeah.
That is weird. A lot of New York movies, people are walking down the sidewalk telling each other what's going on, and our equivalent is driving down the street telling each other what's going on.
What's the other big Michael Mann movie? But he uses
Jungle Book.
Maybe it's the Jungle Book.
That's an LA movie, Jungle Book, because it's a concrete Jungle Book.
Yeah.
They checked out from the Los Angeles Public Library, where they filmed Heat.
Well, they shot all those cops. I don't want to say it's one of the few movies, but it celebrates that part of town that's all industrial.
Celebrate it.
I mean, like, it uses it as an effective backdrop.
So many people love the movie Heat, like they're really obsessed with it. It's almost like
for a while, yeah.
That's the cool representation of Los Angeles.
It's the least glamorous of the ones I've picked, I think. Because even in Up in Smoke, they go to the Roxy, and Chong, at the first scene, he's coming out of like a really nice house. But like, it shows parts of LA that you would see, of course, like the beach and the sun. And Heat is not any of that stuff. Like, they have a house in the Hollywood Hills, but then Pacino acts like Pacino in the movie, and he gets mad at people.
She's got a great ass.
I'm turning this movie off now.
All right, let's go to the next movie. Hopefully I've seen this one. Oh, I love this movie. Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, have you seen Quentin Tarantino?
I love it. No, I've only seen the Polish one. Quentin Tarantino.
I heard it's directly inspired by another director.
It's inspired by Akira Kurosawa.
You know what? I didn't even think about doing research on Foxy Brown. Not Foxy Brown. Jackie Brown. Well, I did a little research research.
I did some personal research on Foxy Brown.
Jackie Brown takes place all over LA too. It's another one that doesn't celebrate glitz and glamour of LA. It takes place at the Fox Hills Mall, which is really cool because that was a mall I always heard
Dinah's.
about. Right near Dinah's, yeah. But I did Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, which when you say LA movies, Pulp Fiction comes to mind like right away.
Where's Michael Mann from? Like, was he?
I don't know. I could look that up right now. I'll do it on my phone. Keep talking. Talk about Pulp Fiction for a minute. Why don't you?
Oh, my favorite part of Pulp Fiction was when he goes, "I'm one bad butt, mommy farter, and I want my wallet back." I love that part. I love it. It's so censored. I love how family friendly it. I want my wallet back. I want my wallet back. What's in the bag? Is it yellow gold? Where's Michael Mann from?
He's from Chicago.
That makes sense. Like, he's Chicago-fied.
Which is why yeah, exactly. That's a perfect way to put it because he makes us look like a port town, which we kind of are, but not really.
But back to Quentin Tarantino, he's an LA boy. He's from
He's from Torrance, yeah. Well, actually, he moved around a lot, but he claims Torrance is his...
He planted his flag in Torrance, and it's a fluttering foot.
You know what I'm going to say about both these movies, especially Pulp Fiction?
What?
A lot of driving.
Yeah.
A lot of driving in both. A lot of hanging out in cars, too. Even when Vincent and Mia go to Jack Rabbit Slim's, they're sitting in a fake car.
I'm trying to think if, like, we're just... Because we've been thinking about LA movies, that it's just LA movies that have a lot of car scenes.
Probably not. It's probably a lot.
It's where we spend most of our... It's where I do all of my exposition.
In Up in Smoke, they get pulled over on Riverside Drive, which is the same street, same shot even of when Bruce Willis and I forget the girl's name come out on Zed's chopper. It's right there in Riverside Drive where their motel is at.
And they pass by each other.
Yeah, they're in the same universe. Why don't you pull him over?
I want my wallet back.
My wallet. What's with the guy in the leather? I want my wallet back. Pulp Fiction was filmed all over Glendale. On Atwater and Fletcher Road is where Bruce Willis hits Marcellus Wallace. Bruce Willis is not the character. Yeah, it's right where by the Foster's Freeze.
It happened first, and then they wrote it into the movie.
Bruce Willis is the kind of guy to do that. Lance, the drug dealer's house, is in the Glendale Atwater area on Laclede Drive, Clede. They filmed, if you remember, at the Hawthorne Grill, which is no longer there.
Yeah, there's the whole Pans Hawthorne Grill controversy.
Yeah.
Listen to our Googie episode, actually.
If you want to hear me talk for 15 minutes about
where they filmed Pulp Fiction.
Pans has all the stuff right now, but they're like, I don't want to confuse you, but we're going to make this really confusing for everybody.
For one of my things, there's also a similar sort of thing where they're like, I don't think this is the place, or this is the real thing, but everyone's like, well, for publicity, for tourism, we have to tell people
we're benefiting off the confusion of no one knowing where this is filmed at. The Wallace's house was in Beverly Hills. Butch has to go back to his apartment in North Hollywood, which is Butch Cassidy and the I gotta get my wallet kid.
Pulp Fiction. Give me back my wallet. My favorite line.
Give me back my watch. Give me back my wallet.
Because I'm one bad mommy farter.
Butch has to go back to his apartment to get his watch on Runnymede. Zed's Shop of Horrors is on Roscoe and Canoga Park. Jimmy's house where they go wash down Vincent's car is on Craft Avenue in Studio City, and it looks so Studio City. Like, there's something about Jimmy's house in that movie. It's like a low house with a brick wall in the back. It's like a patch of grass with a palm tree or some kind of tree. Too. Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, that's
50s movie producer house. Even they explicitly state, I don't know, 818 or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I want my wallet back.
Wallet back. Take me to 818. I want my wallet back.
You mommy farter. Yeah. That's another like specifically LA thing.
Yeah. The junkyard they go to get rid of that car is also in Sun Valley on Brantford.
It helps when it's someone who obviously knows it's not Wes Anderson's going to make a Los Angeles movie and he adds some reference to a part of town that doesn't exist anymore.
Take me to Tropico. Where are you going?
Can we go visit Camelot?
I think that I have a lot of beef with LA movies that they don't explicitly say where they are. The distance between areas is not realistic. Like, I'm going to walk to the beach, but you know that they're in like the Hollywood Hills. And then like movies that just take place in the Hollywood Hills, but like everyone has like a normal job that they can't live in the Hollywood Hills. Like, that bothers me a lot. Back to Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs.
Now, which reservoir is it?
It's very Highland Park, Eagle Rock centered, which is really cool. There aren't a lot of those out there, except for Marin and Marie Bamford's show, which is almost all
takes place in the same coffee shop. Also another crossover universe, like Up in Smoke and Pulp Fiction.
Stop jumping all over the place. I need a brood.
I want my podcast back. What the fuck?
What the fuck? So the diner at the beginning of the movie where they're talking about Madonna is at Pat and Lorraine's on Eagle Rock Boulevard, which is still there. We should go right now and talk about Madonna. The iconic scene where they are all walking along the brick wall is at the All-Star Lanes in Eagle Rock, which was my boyhood bowling alley.
Really?
Yeah, 4459 Eagle Rock Boulevard, which is at York.
Is it? I don't even remember. It's been a while since I've seen it. Is it a Googie bowling alley?
I want to say yeah.
I want to say Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what the exterior. I can only remember how it looks now, which is pretty run down. I'm trying to remember what it looked like usually.
That was its style, mid-century rundown.
The robbery spot where they're sitting in their car talking about it is at West Burbank Avenue in Burbank. After the heist, though, Mr. Pink is seen running down York or Fig. I read both, but I think it might be York Boulevard in Lincoln Heights. That's when he's running like really fast and he's firing at the cops and they're chasing him.
Steve Buscemi is...
Mr. Pink, yeah.
Okay, this is two Steve Buscemi movies.
Very different Steve Buscemi's.
Very two sides of Steve Buscemi.
Mr. Pink, Steve Buscemi, Donnie was hit on Avenue 45th and York, which is when he gets up in the car, then he gets out and pulls the person out of the window of the car. Mr. Orange is shot on Marion Way in Highland Park.
What, the Marion?
When he's regaling the group about the cop Coke story, about the bathroom Coke bag. It's at the Lodge in Lancashire Boulevard in North Hollywood. The actual meetup spot has been torn down, but it was at 59th and Figueroa in Highland Park, which used to be 5860 North Figueroa Street.
Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Foxy Brown, as you call it.
Jackie Brown. Kill Bill takes place in Pasadena. There's another...
And The Hateful Eight, that takes place on the...
What's the other big one?
On the 10 freeway. Inglourious Bastards.
That takes his place. Michael Fassbender sits down at a diner in Glendale.
And kills Hitler.
I
think he's gotten away from Los Angeles.
Yeah, which is fair.
Isn't he only doing like 2 more movies?
He said that like 8 movies ago. And he also said that we're going to get like sequels to Kill Bill and we're going to get a crossover between the Vega
Up
Brothers.
in Smoke and Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction and Up
Wait,
in
what?
Smoke.
Vega Brothers and what?
He used to say that he was going to do a crossover movie about the Vega Brothers, which was Vincent Vega and Mr. Blonde is also a Vega brother.
Huh.
Vic Vega.
I hope Suzanne makes an appearance.
She's going to be the one the uniting force in the two.
Yeah, she's going to be the Nick Fury. Now I realize that's Samuel L. Jackson and I'm freaking out. Here, you want to pull the next one?
Yeah, I pulled one of mine again. A very loose one. I'm going to end it quick. Someone who influenced Quentin Tarantino a lot was Jack Hill, who did Foxy Brown. He did Coffee. Well, first of all, we'll talk about my favorite Jack Hill movie, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, which is Spider Baby. The Spider Baby house is in Highland Park.
I didn't know you put Spider Baby on this list.
Yeah, it's a Jack Hill movie. Spider Baby was filmed
in my backyard, according to you.
Daniels has a slope in his backyard, and it looks like the end of Spider Baby when Jessica is up and playing with the spider.
Also the name of my sister.
That's weird.
There's also a lot of spiders back there. I keep them there.
And dead rats in the pool. Spider Baby was filmed at the Smith Estate in Highland Park, 5905 Almeo Drive. That's also where they filmed one of the Insidious movies. I want to say 2. Same house, but...
A great Los Angeles legacy movie. Insidious 2.
Pit Stop,
Insidious 2, where's my wallet?
I told you it's dead.
Oh, fart.
Oh, mommy farts. Jack Hill's Figure 8 racing movie, Pit Stop, was filmed in El Segundo. They filmed at the Ascot Speedway in Gardena. There's a lot of spots in North Hollywood they were driving around. Switchblade Sisters was filmed, I thought, and I still convinced, and someone on the internet saying I'm wrong, and I don't like that, is saying that it was...
washed ashore in 1994?
Yeah. I thought that they filmed the scene where the Switchblade Sisters, they're going to fight this girl named Maggie, who's a lot tougher than she turns out to be, in a burger shack. I thought it was what is now the Oinkster on Colorado Boulevard in Sheeran, which is what I've been telling friends this whole time, but according to something I read on the internet, which I don't even know anymore because they're saying this place is torn down, there's no way to prove it, was Jobo's Burger Place on Pico Boulevard, 5907 Pico Boulevard. I'm very angry about
Isn't that the best feeling? For years you've been telling someone that's where they did this.
That's where they've done this movie where only I've seen.
Pans is doing this still.
There's also a scene where they abduct a girl outside of a school. It was filmed right outside of my middle school, Bancroft Middle School.
You could have been that girl.
Yeah. My middle school came out in Naked Gun 3 as well. The one with Nana Nicole Smith.
33 over 30.
That's
Nana Nicole Smith?
And I said Anna Nicole Smith. Whatever one where they break out of jail and he comes out and he's in like a prison yard or something. That was my middle school, but it's not an alley movie. Also, they filmed the scene for Switchblade Sisters at the Moonlight Rollerway in Glendale.
Next one. All right, let's see what else we have in here. Ugh,
it's spit.
I keep my spaghetti in there. Oh, wow. Perfect order for me. Boogie Nights.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I watched this for the first time last night.
I'm very happy because I've been telling you to watch it for a long time because it's one of my favorite Valley movies.
I feel like The Big Lebowski is more of an LA movie in general, but this one heavily references and makes it clear that they're in Reseda. Although I don't think they show enough of Reseda for my I want to see where I work.
Yeah. He's also from Torrance too, and it looks very Torrance. It's the planes going
exactly.
over. Yeah.
So the theater, we were there like an hour ago.
Yeah, we were.
The theater at the beginning is the Reseda Theater at 18447 Sherman Way in Reseda.
That's the opening shot.
That's the opening shot. It's shut down, but the last thing I read, they're turning it into a Lemley Theater.
Really?
Yeah, they're trying to revamp that whole area, and they're putting a Lemley. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
The nightclub was at 18419 Sherman Way, which is just 10 steps away from it. It's now a church. The donut shop with Don Cheadle was Miss Donuts at 18231 Sherman Way, just 10 steps from there. That's where we got our donuts for this episode. Yeah. And because there was a guy sitting in the seat where the guy pulls out a gun, and we kept watching him, but he was falling asleep.
We have to almost get mugged first. That has to happen for him to wake up.
Like I was saying, I had just watched the movie 10 hours before we were in there, and there was no blood. How'd they clean up the blood that quickly?
Where's the dead guy?
But another thing also, because I had watched The Big Lebowski the night before, I watched Boogie Nights just to get a refresher, and there were Philip Seymour Hoffman.
No, that's right.
And Julianne Moore in both movies about Los Angeles, and then John Turturro was supposed to be the Alfred Molina character.
Right.
Like there's weird incest going on, and I don't mean what's going on in Boogie Nights. See, I know what pornography is.
I've seen it once.
Jack Horner's house was in Covina, though.
Oh, was it really?
That wasn't actually in Reseda.
Wow.
Dirk's childhood home, 3503 West 187th Street in Torrance. Yeah, it is a very Torrance. It has the like towers behind it and stuff.
The sound of a plane.
Yeah, they sat and ate at the Studio City Du Pars at 12036 Ventura Boulevard. That's where they
first try to get him in.
Yeah, okay. And they're just staring at him. I'm surprised he fit in the booth. They plot the drug deal at the El Royale Motel at 11117 Ventura Boulevard in Studio City, but the drug deal house is 16804 Encino Hills Drive.
Do you know where that's at?
In Encino. You know where it is?
Where?
This will be relevant to the listeners in the episode following this episode, which we've also already recorded. It's like 2 minutes away from where the Nike missile station was.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's right over there. We'll make a trip.
We'll have to make a trip out of this. There's a house near Pierce College that looks like the house. I call him Eddie Nash, but it's not Eddie Nash in the movie.
Well, we should talk about that it's modeled after
John Holmes and the Eddie Nash, all that Wonderland murder stuff. It looks like a house in that area, and also there's a slope, like, because his Mustang or whatever has to go down the street. And
it's a Corvette.
It's a Corvette.
Which is, again, in The Big Lebowski, there's a scene with a red Corvette, right. And now this is another Corvette in Lost. It's very confusing to me. Also, heavy cars movie, a central point of a movie.
That's right. His car in particular.
Especially The Big Lebowski, his car getting stolen and set on fire it's
so dramatic.
Huge part. Yeah.
I don't always count all movie making. A movie about movie making in LA, like Bowfinger, is not like it's an LA movie, but I don't count it as much because it doesn't feel necessarily like an LA movie, because of course it does. They're making movies. But Boogie Nights
is a very specific type
of movie that has to be done in the valley. Yeah. It portrays like a period of it well.
Well, even though the house was in Covina, it still felt like a valley pool party, of which I've been to many with many of the same people. I go in there and they're like, Daniel, please show it. No, thank you.
No, thank you. I need it for peeing, thank you.
If you are not a toilet, I will not be showing it to you. Oh, you are a toilet.
That long shot of the pool party and this plane Spill the Wine. I'm like, this is what I think California is.
Yeah, even the music is very much the valley.
Like lowrider stuff. Yeah,
lowrider shows. Yeah. Yep. Let's go to the next one. I like that mine have gone in order that I was hoping they would go in.
In a logical progression?
Yeah. From The Big Lebowski to Boogie Nights.
Well,
I want my wallet back.
Oh,
really? Perfect. Also the next one on mine. What movie is that?
What is that?
Is it the Polar Express? Are we talking about the Polar Express?
Nobody talks about the Polar Express except for Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One. He's the only one that still brings up Polar Express.
Because he lived it.
He used to be the conductor. Talk about Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Thank you.
One of the most important movies in my life.
Anyone who listens to our intros knows that.
It's never explicitly stated that it is Los Angeles. It's Hill Valley. But they filmed it in so many places around the valley in particular that it feels so much like the valley. Like it can't not be the valley.
I mean, they even filmed at Universal Studios in the valley. Yeah.
Like you can see the mountains behind it and stuff. Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis, they wanted Hill Valley to be a character in the feeling of the movie, and they wanted it to reflect a middle American town. But like I said, it was all over the valley in like the more suburban parts of LA, so it naturally had that feel. The entrance to Lion Estates was at Sandusky Avenue and Cagle Canyon Road in Pacoima, but the McFly house itself is at 9303 Roslindale Avenue, also in Pacoima. To again tie it back to me, which it
always does. Yeah,
that's like 2 minutes from where I went to elementary school.
Really?
So when I was watching this movie, I was going to that place every single day. I went there once. Me and my girlfriend went, and she took a picture of me, and I think she never gave it to me, and then her phone broke. So I don't think I have that picture anymore.
So you're saying the picture of you disappeared? Is that what you're saying? Oh no! Play Johnny B. Good.
Please. You have to kiss Melissa.
No,
you have to kiss her old phone. Get to the e-waste dump. But also when we were there was like a family who didn't speak English from, some god-awful Scandinavian country. But they were all like, for people to come visit Los Angeles from Europe or anywhere outside of Los Angeles and to drive to Pacoima to see this house. Like, it's just this tiny street. Like, you can barely fit 2 cars down the street.
One of those streets,
Well, where they're going, they don't need road, but they do need a lot of space. To have Pacoima be a tourist destination, obviously the movie had a big impact on people. The 2015 McFly house is at 3793 Oakhurst Street in El Monte, so that's
wow, really?
Yeah. George McFly's house in 1955, all that stuff, it was in Pasadena because that's
their idea of quaint.
Yeah,
America.
exactly.
That's where they filmed. I didn't say, I said to you, that's where they filmed Halloween.
You know, by the 80s, the Valley was kind of less quaint than it was, so I guess they had to go to Pasadena to capture that quaintness.
Where they aggressively preserve quaintness.
Aggressively quaint. So his house was at 1711 Bushnell Avenue in South Pasadena. It was also used, strangely, in Teen Wolf.
Don't go too far. Michael, don't go too far.
Put on his hair, stay here.
Don't go too far.
Also on that street is Lorraine's house at 1727 Bushnell, where he's a peeping Tom looking through. And
so you're saying it's peeping Tom friendly is what you're saying.
Hop in the trees. Whatever you see is fair game.
Fair game.
It's all Boogie Nights up in those trees. Biff's house is at 1809 Bushnell, which you don't see that till the second one.
Yeah.
The first two, the third one's obviously because it's the Old West, but the first two are still pretty LA. The gym where they had the 1985 band auditions is the McCambridge Park Recreation Center at 1515 Glen Oaks Boulevard in Burbank. The Enchantment Under the Sea dance was in the basement of the Hollywood United Methodist Church at 6817 Franklin in Hollywood. That's the one with the big AIDS ribbon on it.
Really?
And they did like a recreation for the anniversary.
I would have loved
that would have
to
been
be
pretty cool.
I would have insisted on being in the trunk and someone cutting their hand trying to get me out.
I don't want a bunch of reefer addicts giving me a bunch of fuss, okay? I'll be in the trunk. Hey, where's my wallet? Which is also a line from Back to the Future, too. He took his wallet.
My funny wallet back.
The tunnel in part 2 is the observation tunnel in Griffith Park, which is always...
we always hum it when we drive through.
Was that the Polar Express? Hill Valley High School is Whittier Union High School at 12417 Philadelphia Street in Whittier. One famous slacker to graduate from there, Richard Nixon.
Ooh, I wish I could take a time machine back and flunk him, that lazy slacker.
And make it so that nobody ever uncovers Watergate. If I could change one thing in history,
it's that he makes it.
I would turn those lights off. There's, of course, the Twin Pines Mall is the Puente Hills Mall at 1600 South Azusa Avenue in the City of Industry. Old Man Peabody's Twin Pines Ranch is the Disney-owned Golden Oak Ranch on Placerita Canyon in Newhall. Doc's Lab was built in the parking lot next to the Burger King at 535 North Victory Boulevard in Burbank, which we also is a place we went to because I think it was the day he was supposed to come to 2015 or something. Yeah. We were doing something in Burbank.
Very late at night.
It was midnight.
Like pilgrimage.
Yeah, it was there was supposed to be a gathering there later in the day, but we were the first ones to go there to this parking lot of a Burger King.
You guys want anything? No. We just want to wait in the driveway.
Plutonium.
Where's Einstein?
Doc Brown's house itself, I thought he had lost the whole house, but the way they made it seem was that was the same garage, but like the rest of the house was in shambles, but they don't show.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, his actual house was the Gamble House at 4 Westmoreland Place in Pasadena. It's a National Historic Landmark.
We can't go take pictures there.
Well, it's the place where they made time travel possible. The flux capacitor was invented there. The big centerpiece was a movie set, like we said, but it's so iconic that it really is just another place in the valley. The Courthouse Square at Universal Studios.
Yes.
You can see it on the backlot tour. It was built in 1948 for a movie called An Act of Murder. Then it was used in the 50s for horror movies like Tarantula and It Came from Outer Space. Then in 1960, it was in a different sort of horror movie, Inherit the Wind. In 1962, it was the Courthouse in To Kill a Mockingbird. It was also in The Music Man. In 1963, it was in Bye Bye Birdie. And then it went on, it was in Buffy, Bruce Almighty, and Gremlins. It was also where Biff Tannen's Pleasure Paradise was in part 2. Like the same thing with I didn't realize that garage was supposed to be the same garage from the past. Biff Tannen, aka Donald Trump's giant casino, that was the courthouse. Like he tore it down and built this casino. So it takes place in that.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I just thought, wow, does Mommy McFly look nice in this alternative
I
future?
hope that she wakes me up one day.
Way back here in 1969, if you know what I mean. There was this whole thing that on November 6, 1990, a fire was started in the Brownstone Street alley on the back lot by an arson-loving security guard with a lighter. It took 400 fighters and 6 helicopters to put the fire out, but the square was burned down entirely except for the clock tower, so they managed to save that.
They saved the clock
they
tower?
Burned down the rest. Why does it feel right?
Does that make so much sense to me?
The security guard who did it got sentenced to 4 years in prison, but his kid went back in time and prevented him from that. They rebuilt the square, but in 2008, fire purified all yet again, this time starting on a soundstage, and the square was burned down in a fire that lasted for 12 hours, took with it King Kong, and they lost from their archive 50,000 videos of every movie Universal had ever made, all of Miami Vice and I Love Lucy.
much.
There were backups of everything. Luckily, unluckily about Miami Vice, though, I had heard that even the clock tower was burned down. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I heard that it was all gone, but the official story is that it was only badly damaged and now it's been rebuilt. But I think they just say that to be like, no, this is the real. It's a Pans thing all over again.
It's just a spray painted clock.
They just threw a pocket watch up there.
We replaced it with a doomsday clock.
Yeah, that's Back to the Future. I don't know. It just has that feeling for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I watched it a lot as a kid growing up in the Valley, but it felt.
Yeah, I never really thought of it necessarily as LA, but it's certainly Southern Californian.
Well, I think it is explicitly stated that it is in California, but
really?
It doesn't say Los Angeles.
Okay, yeah.
So there's 2 more in here. The next one is noir movies, Chinatown.
Chinatown. Takes place in Chinatown.
Oh, forget that.
It's all over the place. You see them up at the Echo Park Lake, obviously.
And the aqueduct.
Yes.
Also the Valley.
Also the Valley. A lot of people I asked when we're preparing for this, like, what do you think is one of the best LA movies? And a lot of people said Chinatown, as I said earlier in the episode. But it does...
Because it's made by a pedophile.
Because it's made by Woody Allen. But it really captures, like you were saying about Big Lebowski, how it feels like different eras of LA, and you're just kind of going, that's how Chinatown feels to me. Like, you go to, like, some rundown house, and then you go to a giant estate, and then you're out
it's like
by the aqueducts, by the ocean, and then you're up in the hills at a nice restaurant, then you're going to a crummy restaurant. Like,
you've got Sunset Boulevard in there with the Big Sleeper.
Exactly, yeah.
It is also rooted in actual Los Angeles history.
Yeah, exactly. It's, what's the word?
Pedophile? Pedophile made?
It's not creative nonfiction.
Manga?
It's manga. It's manga. They shot the last thing, I think, on Broadway Street, or it's either Broadway or Hill. I think it's Hill in Chinatown at the end. That's the big shot at the end. Crisscross was a noir movie I watched at Union Station, and they filmed a little piece of it at Union Station. They also, in Crisscross, one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, have shots of Bunker Hill. And he walks up Bunker Hill. He takes Angel Flight up, and he's up in he walks in these hills that are built on this hillside, and they're houses for, like, low-income families. A lot of stuff just kind of crammed together, a lot of weeds growing out of the ground, but it's beautiful to see because I've never seen Bunker Hill in a movie before.
Why do you think film noir was so identified with LA? Like, why does it...
I'll give you the Raymond Chandler answer when they identify Raymond Chandler, because first of all, everything was new. New York stuff, there was a lot of older stuff. Part of it is everything's looking ahead and it's new, and with that comes an old type of cynicism, which is popular in noir, but also, like, with LA specifically, the high meets the low so perfectly here. Like, you can be the top actress in the world and you still have to buy drugs, which you are.
Which I do. I need to buy drugs. Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights. Look at this. Oh my God, it's prosthetic.
It's remote controlled.
It's got a beanie.
LA Noir is specific because, well, we talked about it in the Prohibition episode where gangsters were hanging out with movie stars, and some gangsters have, like, low-level flunkies, and you can be an actress and have to go to MacArthur Park to pick up drugs, or you can be a gangster going all over town and still, like, you are Mickey Cohen, you are dating actresses, and you are as popular, and everyone knows who you are, and you are battling out with Bobby Kennedy, and, like, you
and
like a private,
Billy Wilkerson,
and the cops are corrupt, as they were here. Like, it's a specific kind of fame with that specific kind of money and crime, and to go with that, the cops are corrupt. The space is vast. It's a lot of different things, but
now give me the Sam Spade answer.
Sam Spade's San Francisco.
That's why I want that answer. See, I think San Francisco has they have noir stuff, but that kind of has a 1800, like an older sort of feel to it.
Continental Up certainly feels very. Also, San Francisco had a lot of local crime. It didn't have a lot of imported crime. We had a lot of imported crime.
But I think also for LA, it's a lonelier sort of place because you're alone in your car a lot. Like we've been saying, we've established.
Yeah, the terrain is vastly different.
You have to travel long distances alone. You have to walk around on the street where no one else is walking around because no one walks in LA. You know that? I think the loneliness of Philip Marlowe just sitting in a car alone waiting for something.
Oh my God, the amount of times he's had to sit in the car and just wait for someone to show up to a house. You reminded me of something I remember James Ellroy talking about the Black Dahlia. It's very strange that she was left there, and he, within saying that, was saying, if you kill somebody in Los Angeles, you can literally...
You have a getaway gap. Like, you have time to get away before someone finds it.
Not only that, but in an hour, you can be in the ocean, or you can be up in the mountains. You can be in Big Bear in an hour if there's no traffic. You can be in the ocean. You can be...
Dorner.
You can... Exactly. You can be in San Pedro. You can be in Central Valley. Like, we're in such a spot with what our modes of transportation and the freeways that you have all these settings.
There's easy outs.
Yeah. The Lady in the Lake takes place, I believe, in San Bernardino County, but then he has to go to the hills of Malibu. Other stories, he's on gambling ships. Like, there's just so many different settings in LA that don't exist. Like, there weren't gambling ships in Chicago.
Yeah, there are more settings. That's right. And Raymond Chandler made good use of that, going to all of them, every single one.
I'm on Central Avenue, and now I got to go to Hollywood.
I have to go to Bay City, which doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
And then I need to make a quick stop in Pacoima to see the Back to the Future house. I love that movie.
And then I have to try to get on the set of this movie. And then, of course, there's James M. Cain. Mildred Pierce takes place at the beginning, is in Glendale. Double Indemnity. When we first see the car speeding down the road, it's on 5th and Olive in downtown, which is really great. It's a shot that you and I, because we've been to Central Library enough times. It doesn't pass Central Library, but it's like street next to it, but we identify like, oh yeah, I know exactly where I am right now. The exterior of Neff's building was at 1825 North Kingsley off of Franklin, which is in Hollywood. Have you seen Double Indemnity?
No.
It's all meaningless then. I just erase this whole episode. Raymond Chandler's in a quick shot.
Is there a DeLorean in it?
Yeah, Raymond Chandler goes back in time and sells it.
He goes back in time and kisses Biff.
Raymond Chandler is in like a single shot, like way up in the second story, but you could see him sitting in a chair looking curmudgeon-y as he was. The famous market scene, it takes place at 5330 Melrose Avenue, right by Paramount Studios. They meet in a marketplace and they have to keep it hush-hush and get these really cool sunglasses and pretend like they don't know each other, but they have to give all this information because they've been watched. Dukes' house, which is a big dramatic house that she lives in, 6301 Quebec Drive in the hills above Hollywood. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I will take my rebuttal off the air. Should we put here?
I know what it is already.
Boys in the Hood and Friday.
Friday is really quick because they're mostly just hanging out at the porch at Craig's house. You haven't seen Friday?
I haven't seen Friday.
One of my favorite alley movies. It feels like such a good summer movie because it's one of those things that takes place in one day. Craig gets fired on his day off and Depot, the neighborhood bully, just comes and robs everybody and everyone's scared of him. And then Chris Tucker's in the movie for some reason. Craig's house is 1418 West 126th Street between Normandy and Hallday Avenue in West Athens area of Los Angeles. Boys in the Hood. I didn't know this about John Singleton, the director. He grew up in Inglewood and filmed a lot of his around the area where he grew up. Trey and his dad Furious live on Sumerian Street between 59th and 60th Street, which is a couple miles north of Park Mesa Heights. Brandy and Doughboy in the movie also live on the same, the houses are also on the same street. Riva and Furious, Trey's parents, they have dinner on Crenshaw Boulevard at a place that isn't there anymore, but it was called Coley's Kitchen Jamaican Restaurant, but now it's a barbecue restaurant. Furious gives the gentrification speech, that really great speech. He gives it to the neighborhood roughs at 2661.
Gather around, you neighborhood roughs.
Let me tell you about white people and crack.
Doughboy, come here.
No, I'm wearing a Raiders hat. Leave me alone. Fair. Read your comic books as you wished earlier. He gives that speech at 2661 South 5th Street at 5th Avenue and West 27th Street, which sounds confusing, but if this was New York, it would make a lot of sense for some reason. The Burger Shack, where they run into the other guys who shot Ricky, was at 3715 South Santa Rosalia Drive. It's now a Staples. I have to do a shift later. I'm not sure where Ricky gets shot or where they were having that party.
The Heart.
In the back.
It's also a Staples now. It went through the Heart.
He got shot by Staples. I don't know where they had the party where Doughboy pulls the gun, or he doesn't pull the gun out, but he lifts his sweater up and he's holding the gun in his belt. We got a problem here? And people are like, oh, God. I don't know where they filmed that. But a lot of it is Inglewood, which is pretty cool. What I wanted to say about around the time that NWA got popular and rap got really popular, that hardcore rap and the riots and everything, there was like the slew of films that came out about like South Central and everything, which was really great. But my one comment was, it's always summer because all those movies I could think of, it looks so hot. It's always summertime in South Central.
Yeah, the hit new show. I remember I watched that movie for the first time a few years ago, and it, even for me, who obviously lived that life, it felt so much like LA watching that. Like I didn't grow up in that area, but it felt so much like a summer day in Los Angeles.
The backyard party they have feels like parties. I mean, I had like family parties like that were just like filled with people. Yeah, and all the houses are like one level. It's like the model houses and stuff. It's a really good LA movie.
So many days of my youth spent in a house like that with the lights off because it was hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to stay cool.
There's like 4 fans going and there's a baby crying for some reason.
Fighting against gentrification. It just, that's how I would spend my summers. That movie felt
There's a lot.
very
I'm
real.
trying to think of what other movies came out around that time. I could only think of Friday because I always, for some reason, I think it's because Ice Cube, I always link those two movies. So Ricky gets shot. I don't know which one I'm watching.
He's your Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Exactly. I don't know what movie this is until I watch Philip Seymour Hoffman. And now I think we're on to our personal ones.
Yeah, these are the personal ones. I'll go first because you've been... Oh my God, you haven't stopped talking.
I don't know how to.
Dun, dun, dun. E.T.
Oh boy.
Yeah, E.T. This is my personal one. It was filmed from September to December 1981 in the area where I grew up, the Granada Hills, Porter Ranch area. That's where they filmed it all. I wasn't alive yet when they filmed, but things were about the same once I came around. So it all still looked like that when I was growing up. Elliot's house is in Tahunga on 7121 Lonzo Street because they wanted a house with that mountain right behind it.
Right.
But everything else, Granada Hills, Porter Ranch, and also space. The first shot E.T. sees of Earth is a model of the valley. Like they used the model to make it look better, but it's of the valley. The bus stop where they're Cine Supremus stuff. The bus stop is at Vista Grande Way and Capistrano Lane in Porter Ranch. The trick-or-treating scene was on Granada Circle and Killamore, also in Porter Ranch. And that was something like the trick-or-treating really felt just, it's still bright out. Yeah. It's hot and dry, and you're just wandering around with people everywhere trying to get candy. Like that felt so much
everything was on a slope too, right? Yeah.
High up and on a slope.
Which is how I defined your your house.
My
high up
spider baby house.
Yeah, your spider baby house high up on a slope.
The overlook that they keep looking over, like Porter Ranch, it's at Stewarton Drive. You just go up Reseda and it's there. We've filmed things there before. That LA video.
Thing, yeah. Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so many times have I been up there. The park they go towards the end is Porter Ridge Park. Again, up Reseda. You just take Reseda all the way north and it ends at this park. You'll know it because there's a caterpillar you can climb on there. But growing up, I always knew it as E.T. Park. Like, that's just how it was referred to. They go up an alley right off Rinaldi just before Wilbur, which I learned from doing this research. And now every time I've driven past there recently, I've killed so many kids. So many aliens were hit trying to get home because of me. The big takeoff scene, it's on White Oak Avenue between Tribune and San Fernando Mission heading north. They take off at about Tulsa. I grew up on Tribune Street.
Oh, that's right. You took me near there.
Yeah, like 1 minute away from there. That stretch of White Oak, it's a historic cultural monument because that's where they discovered aliens exist.
Yeah.
It's been that way since 1966. It's lined with 114 deodar trees, which are Himalayan, and they were planted in 1932 in celebration of the 5th anniversary of the town of Granada. But it's such an iconic, like there's no other street in the city that looks like that. And for like one of the biggest scenes in movie history to take place there, right where I grew up, for a movie I love. And it just really, the movie meant a lot to me, and then doing research about it and realizing not only did it speak to me personally, but it also filmed where I was growing up.
Yeah. So the feelings you get, I'm sure when you watch that, are like hitting on all cylinders. Like, because
it's weird.
It's a movie that is about a charming little boy in the valley, and you're like, oh, but I'm the charming little boy in the valley.
There can only be one. I'm the 90s version.
That's a movie. It's sort of, when I'm thinking about it, there's a couple scenes that feels like it's like that magic hour before like dusk.
Yeah,
it always feels kind of dusky in that movie for a lot of it's
that's another thing. They don't explicitly say this is Los Angeles, but also just such a weird specific part of Los Angeles for that to be filmed. And looking at the pictures of like, oh my god, Steven Spielberg parked, like I parked there to go to this and he's standing right there, and then pictures of other scenes like, oh my god, Harrison Ford was visiting the set right there. It's very weird.
E.T. I should have watched that in preparation because I knew it was your personal one, and I've seen it a couple times, but it is quintessential Spielberg because it's so suburban.
It perfectly captured my cushy suburban Boys in the Hood childhood.
It was very you had a very Boys in the Hood childhood.
Boys in the childhood. I was earlier.
The way the sun shines in that movie when they're riding down the hill too, it's like that. It's only kind of, it feels so valley to me because the valley, they call it the valley because on both ends of it, on all three ends of it.
What do you mean?
There's just long slopes. So like they're riding their bike. I think they're riding their bikes down on the slope, right? And the sun's just beaming down on them. Like, that's what, there's so few parts of LA that they get that high and are modeled that way. Yeah.
And I do own an alien. You should know that.
I dress it up like a girl.
I use it to scare Drew Barrymore. That's what I do.
And she's more scared that I have her number than I have an alien dressed like a little girl. I'm going to talk about my personal movie. Now, this isn't a movie that I'm particularly fond of.
It just happens that you live it.
I just live where they filmed it and remember them filming it. I recognize a lot of extras in the movie. I watched it in its entirety for the first time last night. Mi Vida Loca. It's a 1993 movie from Allison Anders. It was filmed in Echo Park. It's about the Echo Park gang, very chola heavy. It's about like, at heart, it's very feminist. It's about women trying to find their place within the hood.
Girls in the hood.
Main characters are Whisper, Sad Girl, Mousy, and Giggles. Giggles is my personal favorite, although I have a crush on Whisper. They filmed it at the Echo Park Lake. Obviously, they have a really great, like, two scenes I think in that movie are genuinely great. And Danny Trejo, I think before like Desperado and all the stuff he got famous for, he comes out as like an ex-con.
Before Trejo's Tacos? He wasn't famous from that? That's not why we know him?
Field Trip with Danny Trejo.
Oh, imagine
that.
Well,
and you have.
I have a connection.
Yeah, you have the.
I have an in for someone who hasn't spoken to him in years or ever.
Danny Trejo has a scene with Giggles at the Echo Park Lake. A lot of it's at the Echo Park Lake, which is really great because it's before they started to redo it like the way it is now. Before Jennifer, this is like a great snapshot of pre-colonial Echo
this
Park.
This was the deer in the headlights before gentrification.
Before the big rig that is gentrification came and whacked it. Yeah, and they go to the donut shop, which on Montana, which I affectionately call Donuts, Ice Cream, Hot Dogs.
Really? Wait, is that the one if you go?
Yeah, on the way to the freeway on Echo Park Avenue. Yeah, that's the one that my dad and his friends are always hanging out at.
Yeah.
In the movie, they hang out in that same donut shop.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of stuff happens
Wow.
at that donut shop right there. The old El Pate market, which was there for like 48 years. Yeah, a lot of it takes place at that, between El Pate, the market, and the gas station phone. I know some extras in the movie. She used local guys around the neighborhood.
So weird.
I'm not going to say who, but I just watched them. I'm like, hey, I know. The little girl who gets shot at the end of the movie, the little blonde girl, went to my middle
Spoil
school.
it. Really?
And yeah, we're Gloria. She's great. I haven't seen her in a long
You
time.
know her?
Yeah. She.
Oh
yeah.
my God.
But we'd always talk, in middle school. We'd always laugh about it because she didn't want to be an actress. Although we went to a performing arts middle school.
She did want to be shot, though.
She did want to be shot in the movie on a big wheel, though. But yeah, no, she was in that movie, and it was like a point of pride. A lot of it just areas around my house where we used to skate in this. Okay, I don't know the full history. I couldn't find the address because this house in the hills in Echo Park burned down above Legion Heights, and there's just like the stone remains of it or whatever. The house burned down.
It turned to stone.
It's structured, but people can park there and stuff. So we used to go and like skate and stuff. But a lot of the movie takes like one of the cholos meet up to plan what they're gonna do with Suavecita, the truck. They are hanging out in that area right there where we used to skate. And I remember them filming it too. I remember my dad always having a lot of questions. Like, just he had all his friends were in the movie. They filmed the scene when Mousy and that girl are little. They're in my elementary school, which is within eye shot of my house.
Yeah,
Eye shot.
within spit shot.
Spittoon
Within cry shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a spittoon. It's a spittoon away. Yeah. So that's a weird one for
Within
me.
money shot if we're talking Boogie Nights again.
But if we look at like, and now like Love is filmed in those same areas, and it's like, oh, this is completely different, and I don't like this
that
at all.
speech they gave in Boys in the Hood, we should have taken it seriously. It's so weird to me that this capture of a certain LA lifestyle, and like everybody in the
Yeah, it's kind of odd.
I do know those Reese's Pieces that E.T. was eating. I went to elementary school with those Reese's Pieces. He didn't want to act, but
He wasn't in it for the money, he's a really humble guy, but sometimes you just have that look.
I shot him.
Shot him dead. I didn't want his fame. I just didn't want him to be famous. I didn't want what he
Who
had.
do you think he was? Eminem?
Yeah, that's the most of it. There are still a list of other LA movies that I haven't seen that I'm dying to see. Tangerine, Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler and Drive also
Oh, yeah, sorry, Drive.
are in my part of town.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
My old part of town, which is I'm a different. I'm a boy in the hood these days.
Yeah.
Those are both in like Granada Hills area. Nightcrawler, I think, also filmed at Dinah's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. I asked a lot of people. Ramsey said Shortcuts.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Robert Altman movie, but it's based on Raymond Carver stories. It's like suburban LA. It's really good. Encino Man was pitched to us. Karate Kid was pitched to us.
Karate Kid also receded. We purposely kind of stayed away mostly from the old, like Sunset Boulevard and the most of the established film noir, because that LA almost doesn't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not really. And also we stayed away from Blade Runner because that LA doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
These are ones that felt sort of visitable.
When I was thinking of this episode, I was thinking about what feels like LA, and Encino Man doesn't feel like LA to me. Sorry. Whoever, it was Brian or Nadav was saying, the fact that people now know that there's an Encino, like from other states, are like, what's Encino? Like, was enough.
We could also do Tarzan. That took place in Tarzana.
It did. No, it did. I've read the book.
No, trust me.
It's a very sad
There
ending.
used to be a jungle. Yeah. Hey, shut up. Don't talk about the ending of Tarzan. I'm going to get weepy like thinking about E.T. He just wanted to wear a wig.
Be in love, wear a wig, be in love.
Eat candy. He was so relatable.
I'm going to go home after this and I'm going to
watch E.T.
Actually, I'm going to watch Two Jakes. It's a
The
dare to
sequel
myself.
to Chinatown.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch two E.T.s.
It's called The Coneheads. You need to call it that.
This sort of just turned into a promotion of movies this
I know.
episode. Just a different sort of thing because we had some time restraint, just a looser sort of episode. I hope it inspired you to watch some of these movies.
And visit the places if you're interested. Or even just visit places of movies that you like that we didn't mention.
No, don't go to those. I mean, don't go knocking on the door of Brendan Fraser or whatever happens in Encino Man.
Don't even knock on the door of Brendan Fraser. Nobody wants to see how he's doing right now.
Don't look at it. It's a blast from the past, I tell you. That's also a Valley movie. Blast from the past.
It is a Valley movie. Pasadena's a big point of that movie too.
Yeah.
Where you get a girl from Pasadena. I hate that movie.
I love it.
I know you do. You know what? I love it too, but oh God, do I? Brendan Fraser, why are you doing this? I had a good time doing this episode.
I love this.
You know what? We should always talk about. We should have a movie
Every
podcast.
episode should be about a different movie from Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We'll call it What the Movie.
We'll have a
What
guest,
the Flick.
and we'll ask them what their favorite movie is. But then I'm not gonna let them speak. I'm just gonna.
Is it Mi Vida Loca?
I hope it's Mi Vida Loca.
Do you know Squeaky or whatever?
You're placing a Manson family member into a LA gang.
Hey, weren't they?
Yeah, what separates a cult from a gang?
Tattoos?
Maybe.
Yeah, you can't ascend to the gates of heaven with a tattoo.
You can't commit a helter skelter, let's say, if you had tattoos.
They're two identical identifiable
Yeah, exactly.
for when the inevitable murder spree happens. You're a liability. Any last words?
Stick them up.
Not guilty.
Liar. Wish Daniel good luck, although you'll probably be back by this time.
Once this episode is released, I'll be back in 3 days.
Okay.
So don't go wild while I'm gone, okay? Nobody go knocking on Brendan Fraser's door without me. Nobody go getting into the porn industry. Nobody go back in time trying to save me from ever going to Europe, because that's where I kissed someone in the enchantment under the gulag dance.
If you leave your grandpa's butt watch somewhere, just leave it, okay? Don't go back for it. Just leave the watch. Go easy on me and me alone, because, I'm vulnerable. I'm weak. Where am I? I scurry so easily.
If you ever see him on a dark street shuffling down, don't mug too much of him. Mug half of him.
Let him at least borrow with you about how much money he has. If you're like, give me all your money, like, come on, like 50%. You're like, 50, well, about
Cut a deal.
75.
Get him under your thumb. You can collect tributes that way.
Yeah.
Trust me.
I'll have my unemployment check sent to you.
Have a good July,
Yes.
everybody. Happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th of July.
America. This is you.
You can set fireworks, or you can leave us a review on iTunes.
Oh, you're getting the hang of it.
I'm doing it, friend.
5 stars shot into the sky on iTunes. Leave us a review on said iTunes. It's easy. If you have an iPhone, open the podcast app. You're all logged in. Just leave some stars. Write a little something if you want. Nice things.
Nice stuff.
Things.
Something like myths and facts. I don't know. Go from there.
Something like these people shouldn't be applauded.
So go from there.
Here's just a jumping off point. They're basically committing crimes against humanity every time they release an episode. Just start there.
Remember the words hate crime and then just start writing.
Follow us on Twitter at LA Meekly.
At Instagram on LA_Meekly. We post every day. You can search on Facebook, LA Meekly. Feel free to like us and be our friends.
The LAMeekly.tumblr.com that has the archive and everything.
Yeah, it has all the old episodes.
If you have any episode ideas or more hate mail or
whatever,
or if you think you would be a worthy subject of one of our field trip epithets.
Yeah,
epithets. Send us an email, la.meekly@gmail.com.
Yeah. You've been planning that, and you scared me. Don't do that. Don't move your head too much, Craig. Should we go back to making fun of each other? Don't move your head too much, Craig.
Oh, I'm really tired. I'm also hungry. Do you think you could spare a few scraps of food?
More? One quarter portion for you. Another LA movie. Anyways.
Enjoy us and love us and everything.
Yeah.
That has been yet another episode of LA Meekly, a weird one at that. Looking for our wallet that said Bad Mommy Farter on it since 2013. What's in that suitcase?